Yeehaw! Oh my God. Don't give me a theme because I'll destroy it. Fuck out of here. Am I going to just sit here and ride your dick while I'm quivering and shaking and breaking my fucking knees? Bro, get the fuck out of here. No. I'm a woman speaking about it. Okay, it's going to be different. Today we're going to be talking about the cowgirl position. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, Eden, why? Why are we doing this? Why are we going there? A lot of girls feel some type of way about the cowgirl position. A lot of girls have actually said that, listen, I will not go on top until I'm in love with him or until I'm super comfortable, because that position requires what people think is some sort of a performance. You are front and center. You are the star of the show in that moment. Your whole body's kind of out there. People get really uncomfortable about that, and I understand. A lot of people also think that the cowgirl position requires a lot of work solely from the girl that's on top. And I'm here to tell you that's why you hate the position, because you've been told that this is the only way by guys who are lazy. So, for those that actually have experienced good sex, you can probably vouch for what I'm talking about. But sex, regardless of what it is, requires both partners. Even in oral sex, there's moaning that needs to be done and said to encourage the partner. There's a lot more that goes into sex. There is always some way that you could be contributing to that experience to make it better for everybody. So for the selfish motherfuckers out there that want to sit there with their hands behind their back and be like, ride me, bitch, you're a child. And you shouldn't be having sex. I'm going to give you guys my favorite cowgirl positions. Now, it's not just one position. Most people think that cowgirl is just the girls on top, knees on the bed, guys lying down. I'll insert some little cute pictures here of what the typical cowgirl position is and is known for. However, there are different variations of cowgirl, and it's not just reverse cowgirl. There is a whole world of cowgirl positions where your partner is on top and you as a man are down below, embracing and embarking on this journey while also contributing to it. Before we get further, I got way too excited and did not even introduce myself. Hi, welcome to E-Erotic, the brand. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel and rate my podcast 5 large and in charge stars. It really does help me, and it makes me want to give back more. Let's start with the very first classic cowgirl position. Ladies, I'm going to give you a little pep talk before we get into the details and my tips and tricks. Understand that your body, although you think is the main focus, is really not at the same time. And that is going to sound very confusing and counterintuitive. When you're horny and hot, a lot of things are hot that are not normally hot when you're not horny, And I want you guys to remember that. So when you get in bed, understand that it is somewhat more animalistic. It's not always going to be pretty. And it doesn't need to be pretty. We're trying to pleasure each other. And sometimes pleasuring each other requires us to go in awkward, weird positions. And, your body's not always going to look like a fucking Victoria's Secret model's body. And that's not the point. It shouldn't be that way. When you are on top, you do have to somewhat garner the confidence to get on top. Okay. You can initiate that. Your partner might want that. And as the partner who wants that, you also have to be careful with how you go about initiating that. Not every woman is comfortable with that. And if it's not for you, then it's not for you. And I'm not here to convince you. I'm just trying to give you the other perspective that people don't like to talk about, because it's not as like raunchy or it's not as like male dominant. I'm a woman speaking about it. Okay. It's going to be different. You don't have to take off your bra if you're uncomfortable. You can keep it on. There are certain things that you can do that can make you feel comfortable and warm up to that position. Your partner should not tell you what to do. You should do what you feel is comfortable for you. Understand that the guy is in his own world. Okay. He's not looking at your, rolls or a stretch mark or whatever. Babe, it's a woman's body. Live it, love it, own it. It is a privilege to be fucking you. It is a privilege to have this experience with you. Go in with that mindset and get your own fucking nut. Okay. Like, go and make yourself come. It should be about you just as much as it's about him. You do not have to perform. You do not have to go on there and fucking shake your head and have a blow dryer ready to go so it looks like a fucking commercial while you're fucking riding his dick. If you're sweating, even better. It's sexy. Stop stressing, okay? You can make eye contact. You can look away. You can be super intimate and close by leaning over and sort of hiding your body if that's what you want, and kissing him to distract him if you have a moment of insecurity. There are different ways to go about this. And I'm not saying this to downplay your insecurities. That's something that you need to work on outside of the bedroom and be able to look at your own body and embrace it and own it and just fucking rock with it. But that takes time, and I understand that. Okay. I've been there, and I still have, my insecurities and things like that. But during sex, I tell myself that this is what it is. It is not always going to be the prettiest thing, okay? And we're enjoying it, and that's all that matters. So that's helped me do certain positions. Cowgirl position has always been one of my favorites because it is the best position for me to come. I have easy access to my clit. Ladies, so do you. Your man can also use his thumb and fingers to play around with you as well if he wants to, or if you prefer that. You can talk. You can talk. I understand that you're face to face in this specific position and it makes things uncomfortable, especially if you don't know them. That's why I recommend having sex with the same partner longer than just disposing your partners after one night. You're never going to reach that confidence or comfort. You're never going to understand more about yourself in sex. Finding a good, healthy partner that you feel safe with, that is comfortable and respectful to you, is important, okay? Even if it's just a sex partner and nothing more than that, you pick and decide, you choose who you fuck, and stop just having aimless, meaningless sex, because you won't learn anything and every experience is going to be subpar and you're still going to be uncomfortable about cowgirl position because you haven't gotten to that level. It takes time. So these are little things that you have to keep in mind in the back of your head, and sometimes they'll answer those questions of like, why do I hate this position? Why am I nervous? Why, all of these things. This position is not just you jumping up and down, because no matter how fit a woman is or how not fit, it still creates some aches and shakes in the body after a while. It's like squatting over and over again. It will strain your body at some point, okay? And you should not be having to do the entire fucking show and riding his dick while he sits and does nothing. Guys, thrust, penetration station, bro. It's time to put in some work. It also helps with showing her what your rhythm and tempo is. It also gives her a break. If she could just crouch down and you could just be thrusting into her. That's nice. That's a great way to warm her up to that idea as well. And it feels great when you both are sharing the back and forth moments. I have gotten pretty good at that, and I even sometimes have to vocalize to, the partners I've had sex with, like, okay, fuck me right now. And I make it sexy, basically indicating that I'm done riding you solely. Put in some work, bro. Put in some work. And if he doesn't, then I'll change positions. You lost the opportunity, Johnny. You lost the opportunity, all right? You're not going to put in the work, so fuck out of here. Am I going to just sit here and ride your dick while I'm quivering and shaking and breaking my fucking knees? Bro, get the fuck out of here. No. There are many other ways to experiment the beginning of cowgirl positions. On a couch, you can straddle them, on a chair, whatever is more comfortable when it's a little bit more upright, and he's upright as well instead of the whole lying down. There is a lot of space in between too, and if you're not super intimate or romantically involved, then it might be a little bit awkward for some of you. That can remove the distance and space. You can be up close and you can make out and do more things that will turn each other on and be up close and personal, if that's what you prefer. There are different ways to tweak this. I want you guys to get creative and use your brain cells. Stop watching porn. Porn is very much like the same form of cowgirl, the same sort of reactions, the same girl doing the work and showing off how long she can ride, and oh my god, that's such a cool skill to have. No, it's really not. You think that was done in one cut? Fuck out of here. Like, wake up. Stop watching porn. Stop using stupid examples to emulate for your sex life. Okay, this will always lead you to being disappointed or feeling like you're less than. Guys, my biggest tip is you can grab her butt. If you're a butt man, grab her thighs, whatever, and thrust, okay? You can support her. There's so many ways to do that. Now, reverse cowgirl is another one I want to talk about. I personally don't love this position as much just because of the sensation. For my body, it's not as fulfilling, and depending on your dick shape, if it's curved more upwards, if it's down, if it's whatever, crooked, slanted, bigger, smaller, reverse is a little bit more challenging. It is great for the man that loves the booty. It is great if you don't want to look at your man and you want to look away. I mean, there's pluses to this position to a degree, but it is not the most comfortable. And again, a man should be helping thrust. A man can be fingering your asshole if that's something that you're into and playing with that, grabbing you, slapping you if that's something you're into, gripping your waist. It just depends on how far you guys are in terms of height, which might pose difficulty for him reaching towards your hips. Sometimes it's a challenge. This position is something I recommend we all try, but don't get discouraged because it's not always going to work out, and that's okay. Just turn around and go back to the normal cowgirl position. I think that a lot of us get really discouraged when things don't work out because we think it's because we suck or we're not as skilled or whatever. Every person's body is different. Don't beat yourself up over unsuccessful cowgirl positions, okay? Just move forward. At least you tried. It was fun while it lasted. It is what it is. I personally have only had one partner that I was really into the reverse cowgirl position with, and that just goes to show that the dynamic is different, or the dick situation is different, or just sex in general is different, that sometimes it'll work with some partners and some it won't work with. And that, again, doesn't say anything about you. It's just that you two in that position, it's just not the most comfortable. That's okay. I bet you there's another position that the other partner couldn't do that you both can. Don't take it so personally and get insecure about that, because then you're just going to associate that position with all of your insecurities. You're just going to tack on more reasons why this is not a good idea, why you don't like it, this and this and that. This one is kind of the reason why I think a lot of girls get intimidated by cowgirl position, where your feet are planted on the bed or on the ground even. I've done it on the floor. And actually, that's my hack for this position. If you want to do this position, it does make a huge difference when your feet are planted on a solid surface versus a bed. It makes it a lot easier on a solid surface versus the bed. It's a little bit weird, but I mean, if you guys are fucking, you guys get wild and crazy and you end up on the floor, I mean, that's a great position to try and do. In the bed, you can do it as well. It's just depending on how cushiony your bed is, you do sink in and it's not that easy to hold yourself up. Here, it requires a lot more work for the girl, especially with your arms. Your arms do feel strained after a certain point in time. It's not a long-term position, which is what I like to call it. It's not something that we can do the longest. It's something we mix in there to kind of like cut the other positions some breaks, and then we go back to doing what we were doing originally. It's really sexy too, depending on his dick and how it's curved. When you're leaning back, it could potentially hit your G-spot, again, depending on you two and what's going on down there in your private squares. This is also great for if you want to introduce toys in the bedroom. The man can control the toys while your arms are kind of away and you can't really reach in or do anything. He can kind of take control and assert some sort of dominance if that's what you're into in this position. It's hot. It's fun. I sometimes revert to this position if I'm trying to get to like a spot that I know works for me. And it gives them like a nice view of the dick being inserted. So like, it just depends on what your man's into. Some guys really like the whole visual aspect of watching them fuck you. This is a great one if you know that your partner's into it. My biggest tip is to support her with her thighs, hold her thighs up, help her, and then you thrust. Okay, it's really hard in that position to do decent quality thrusts and like actually jump on your dick like that. It isn't the easiest, because again, it also depends on your dick and how it's curved and its shape and all of that. So what I just spoke about was actually called the crab cowgirl, when your arms are back for support. The sumo squat is without the arms while still being planted on your feet. If my feet are planted on the ground or on the bed, I'm going to do a variation of both of these just for the sensation, just, to play around and have some fun. And again, it allows your partner to have access to your clit, which men stop neglecting. Okay. I brought in a toy the other day with my partner. It was more so the crab I was doing, and like my vibrator was on my clit and we were having a great fucking time and it was insane and I loved it and it was great. And after a while I just revert back to regular cowgirl. So it's nice to mix in and do variations. If you're already going to go on top, I would say have fun with it. Okay. Unless you don't feel comfortable and you don't like it. But I love to just experiment while I'm already in a position. It allows things to kind of like transition nicely. You're spicing up the bedroom by doing something different. Honestly, we think that in order to spice up our sex life that we need to do something drastically different, like dress up and role play. Unless that's your thing, like it's not always going to switch things up. If anything, it might just make things more awkward and weird and uncomfortable. You don't have to change so much. It could just be the way your leg is positioned. It could just be where your arms are positioned. It just could be what you say that's different that makes the world of a difference. It really doesn't require a whole change in atmosphere, in fucking, in all of that. Just little twists and turns, little changes here and there, little tweaks can really spice up your sex life. And last but not least, I want to discuss the octopus cowgirl position. This will make you feel like you're a sex goddess pro. This sometimes can be uncomfortable getting into this position, but I think that if you just take initiative and tell your partner and guide your partner and give it a shot, then once you're already there, you're going to feel like a rock star and a superstar. This allows your partner to really penetrate deep. It's kind of intimate to a degree. It's a lot of eye contact because you're both kind of sitting somewhat upright this time. The man isn't lying down. It requires equal amounts of work. So your man is putting his hands on the back, propped up, and you are putting your legs on his shoulders. It looks a lot more complicated. It looks a lot more scary. It looks like you have to be flexible. It really isn't. It's kind of natural. Imagine you're straddling him and you just lean back and you put your legs up. Like, and your partner can lean back even more to help you if bending your knees too tight like that hurts or bothers you. There are ways to adjust it, but again, it takes two to fucking tango here. The common theme of this position, a position that is sold and told to be so independent and so on the girl, and the onus is on her whether or not it's good and successful, whether or not she can ride that dick. Like, bro, can you even fuck? Do you know what I mean? Thank you. I love the fact that we're both physically working to make this position work. You really can't kiss that much because, your legs do restrict it depending on how flexible you are, which doesn't really matter. I think this is just like a sexy position. You get to lean back. It's just really hot, and he can take a lot of control as well by holding onto your thighs instead of the bed and just like pulling you really close and deep. There is something super intimate about this, and looking each other in the eye and like holding each other tight that I think is really sexy and intimate at the same time. Little pop quiz. What did you learn in this video, my friends? You learned that it takes two to tango, that the onus is not completely on the woman to make this position work or to be successful in Cowgirl. Girls are not always as comfortable with that position because, honestly, think about the narrative that's been sold for this position. I want her to ride my dick. She should be riding my dick. It puts a lot of stress and pressure. I remember the first few times I was told to get on top, I was like, fuck. You start to think about your looks, and then you start to think about, I don't know how long I can ride, and oh my God, my legs hurt, and like, I'm not even enjoying this. And that's not the point of sex. You both should be enjoying it. You both should be in it to win it. And the minute it's not is the minute you should be stopping. You should not continue a position that makes you feel uncomfortable or that hurts you or that bothers you. I know that my videos sometimes come across as like very sexy and like I'm talking about like really raunchy, kind of like X-rated, inappropriate things. But my messages are always, and I hope you guys can see that, are positive. I will never tell anyone to try things that make them feel uncomfortable. I think it's good to expand your horizon and your knowledge and understand these positions and understand that there are myths out there and there's narratives out there that have been unfortunately pushed and put a lot of pressure on, one partner in a relationship versus the other. And that's why we feel uncomfortable. A lot of times we just have to think, okay, that's not actually how it should be. That's not actually how it is. And I hope that my video here is actually helping you with that and giving you a different sort of mindset switch and reframing things and putting the responsibility on both the guy and the girl in this position, because that's just the fucking truth. I come in this position when my man is thrusting me and I'm touching my clit. That's just my secret combination. My partner knows that. It works for both of us. He loves when I'm on top and he's doing most of the thrusting, to be honest with you. And that's great. Like, he gets control like he likes in the bedroom, and I get to pleasure myself and please myself, and he likes to watch me in that moment. Sex positions are not meant to challenge your sex level or prove how good or bad you are in bed. It's going to be different depending on your bodies, okay? It's going to be different depending on your connection. It's going to be different depending on so many things, and sometimes it's going to work with one partner and sometimes it just won't. You just have to bounce back and not take things like it's your fault, because it's not. And if the partner isn't putting in effort, you should not be having sex with them. Point blank, fucking period. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that this video taught you a thing or two. I hope that it inspired you to potentially try these positions and maybe work on yourself in terms of your confidence level, or inspire you to find a partner that you can have sex with and explore more, that makes you feel more comfortable and that will be willing to put in the work. Don't forget to rate this podcast 5 large and in charge stars. Thank you so much for listening and spending your time with me. Give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So many more spicy, sexy topics like this are coming out very soon. Hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on those. And I will see you back here very soon. And enjoy riding that dick. And you thrusting, you bastard. All right? You're not off the fucking hook. Thank you.